Yeah. Come this side, don't worry about that last ball. You'll come under it if you take the right brush. Well done. Right, we're 4 down.
You know, as you know, it used to be for older members, you know, and now the younger ones are coming, but our older members are phasing out. You know, they're all into homes or too sick.
Well, as you get old, you've got to find a sport. I've played football with Collingwood, I've played cricket, and now I'm into this.
Years ago, it was perfect. Plenty of people, but they're dwindling. The younger ones aren't interested.
Change in any environment always comes with some negativity, and in bowls probably more so, given the fact that the demographic of the sport is older and most people are very set in their ways and like it the way that it is. But the reality is the sport had to change, otherwise it may not have survived another 100 years.
Every athlete has been given a choice. They can choose to do it the old way, or they can join the new way.
If you're going to send out your group, go and do your best, right? I don't get that. Go and do your best, you know? Like, go out and win.
Lawn bowls is seen as a sport stuck in the past. In the lead up to the 2006 Commonwealth Games, Bowls Australia, the sport's governing body, has decided that it's time to move into the 21st century. It is implementing the world's first high-performance training regime for lawn bowls.
Well, the sport predominantly in 1995 was really only for retirees, but today it's a sport that encompasses all age demographics and the spectrum of the community.
44-year-old Maria Rigby is a newcomer to the sport and a rising star.
Yes, I'm a qualified bus driver. Yeah, and had a little truck. Yeah. I stopped driving because I had to double clutch you can see you have to change gear in trucks and you have to double clutch the clutch. So that's how I hit my knee, because I got arthritis on my knees. So and then I took up bowling. My next door neighbour played bowls, so come and join bowls. So I went and joined and played, and 4 months later I won a state singles.
The sport itself has grown and changed dramatically in that 10 years, and that's been reflected within Bowls Australia as well.
In late 2005, the Commonwealth Games squad is announced.
To me, I don't have any weaknesses. I want to go out there and win.
We've had a directive from Bowls Australia, the board, to change the culture of elite level bowls.
Bowls has been a certain way for a certain period of time, 100 years or more, you know, particularly in this country, and people will hold on to it. The thing they don't realise is that the longer they hold on to it, they might strangle it.
Today we're a team of 15 staff with a lot more programs going in a lot of areas, high performance obviously, with the Commonwealth Games team.
High performance is something that's not new in most sports, but it is something that's new in lawn bowls. And it's been brought about by some really poor performances by bowls over a number of years. I mean, since the inception of the Commonwealth Games in 1938, there's been 63 gold medals contested, and Australia's only managed to win 6 of those gold medals.
When you're in concentration,
Lawn bowlers used to do no formal training before the Commonwealth Games. The new high-performance training regime is changing all that. To stay in the Australian squad, players must now take part in compulsory sessions of sports psychology, team building, sports science and more intense physical training.
You follow instructions. Very important that when you're building a team.
Bruce's mentors like the five of us coaching staff, and he's more of a coach. Like, I guess his position is as a coach, so he comes in from that angle. He's had a lot of experience with teams.
Toughness, as in resilience. In other words, knock down, get up. Knock down, get up. Knock down, get up.
Well, if you play in the top level, you gotta talk, sleep, eat, bowls.
So I had an illness when I was 8, something like similar to polio, called Guillain-Barré syndrome. It was a virus which affected my immune system, and sort of basically what happened was it paralysed me for about 8 months. Sort of spent 3 months intensive care, 8 months in hospital, 2 years in a wheelchair, and then sort of, because I couldn't play cricket and football and the more contact sports after the recovery process, bowls was an option. The walking stick that I use now is still a very original walking stick, which I got from the Royal Children's Hospital 24 years ago. It's still, the Royal Children's Hospital own it. I actually lease it off them. It's quite funny. I don't think they even know who's using the stick or where it is, but it's not mine, it's part of theirs, they say. But
Although a member of the high-performance squad, Maria has kept her personal trainer.
Hello there.
How you doing?
Good. This is the man behind my success.
One of the wonderful things about coaching Maria is she's such a challenge, and it's not because she lacks ability, it's exactly the reverse. Maria is the most gifted natural athlete that I've ever had to coach, and the biggest problem is making sure that I don't intrude on that and I allow her natural ability to shine through. So it's like trying to tame a wild horse. You just tap it a little bit here and tap it a little bit there and keep it going in the right direction, because to inhibit her in any way would detract from her overall performance.
Maria and the other athletes are now required to follow individual exercise plans and keep training diaries that are monitored by the high-performance trainers.
Take a big step.
People were apprehensive at the start, but when I sat down with each member of the squad individually and went over what I'd like them to do, and we sat down and discussed how much time they've got, what other things they have to do, and 99% of them were when I said, "This is what I want you to do," they're going, "Oh, is that all?"
I was definitely a bit sceptical about it, before we started it, and to what degree we needed to go into it probably. But, when people ask, what do you think about it, sort of thing, I think, well, and Cam's right, we're trying something different. We have won medals in the past before, but for the amount of bowlers that we've got in Australia, we probably should have done better. When I was a kid, I was very sporty, I guess. Started playing bowls when I was 11. I used to ride my bike down and hang over the fence and watch my dad play at a little club on the south coast of New South Wales called Shoalhaven Heads. I started off with the little carpet bowls, with the real little small ones that took forever to come back, sort of thing. And then, just sort of stuck with it. When I was in year 10, my careers advisor said to me, "Oh, what do you want to do when you leave school?" And I was always going to go into year 12, but I said, "Oh, I want to be a full-time bowler," and he laughed at me. He said, his name was Mr. Murphy, by the way, and
We just instigated our guys to do 2 to 3 training sessions a week, which might be ranging from just a walk and a stretch for the older part of the squad, down to the younger guys go for a run. If they have access to a gym, do a weight session a couple of times a week, just to basically keep them active.
No, in exercises wise, they're pretty good, easy with me, because they know that I've got a bad knee.
we're walking every day. Certainly when we're training, we're out there every morning, sort of from 6:30 for about 40 minutes. Stretches, well, I never used to do any stretching. Now we do it all the time. So yeah, things have changed a little bit, and I think it's certainly been for all the better.
How's it feeling, Riggers?
Hello. It's beautiful.
Cold?
Lovely. No, freezing.
Well, I exercise to strengthen my knee, and like hot and cold showers, and I go in a cold bath, and then I jump into the hot shower.
Wow, you got that shower pretty quick. Danny! Yeah, bud.
Love it, mate.
Look at this, right under. Yeah. Go and see Keza. Come on, man. Kerry's tooting here, she's not getting right down. Get down there, Kez. She's floating. Kerry's floating.
My legs are
Kez.
I was playing for Wales in the Junior World Championships, and Mark was playing for Australia, and we met each other. And I knew him for 3 days, and after 3 days I decided to give up my job and my family and my car and my home and everything and move to Australia. All my family played. That means my grandpa and my grandmother, my nana on my other side, my parents, my brother, everybody. And they had me rolling little balls down the green as soon as I could. Well, when I first came here, because me and Mark were partners, we applied for a de facto visa, but that process is quite long. So I had to switch onto what's called a Distinguished Talents Visa. I think I must be the shortest ever resident to get citizenship.
And this is the backyard. You can put another bowling green. That's it. When I was, 18, I had my firstborn. I know exactly what to do in the house, look after the kid, look after the household. My husband has to go to work. I had to cook and clean and put food on the table for him when he comes home. But the young girls now these days, they don't know how to cook and clean. This is sample of some of the badges I won over 10 years. And this is all my caps. Well, like I'm not a very highly educated woman. All my kids teach me how to speak English properly, and I can't read and write. And especially my older boy comes home every day from school and teach me how to speak and said, Mum, talk like this, speak like that, speak like that.
What did you do last night?
Party.
Presume insects of instincts for 80 years until rediscovery in Australia in February. So I owe it to my kids that teach me every day, come home, teach me how to speak English properly.
We had a lot of resentment. A lot of the younger players, particularly the male players, really resented that cultural change to have to train, to rather than just train at the bar, they had to spend so many hours a week on the green to improve their skills.
Lawn bowls has come a long way and it's changing. I can see it changing from when I started.
A zero bowl. We use our palm pilots just to plot every bowl on a little grid, plot some descriptors of the bowl, backhand, forehand, whether it's a draw, drive or a weighted shot, give it a spatial representation, like the centre is the jack, so we can plot wherever we like. And then it's just a matter of hot syncing it to our computer, so downloading our information from here into our laptop, and it gives us a printout like that.
When we debrief, we review and reflect on the game, and we highlight any areas where they might have cracked under pressure. Like, say, we spoke about Barry Lester. Under pressure, he's cracked a couple of times, and Barry wouldn't mind me saying that.
It's like...
Look, he really rubs opposition players up the wrong way. He's sort of so flamboyant in his body action and that. And there's probably no player in the Australian squad that's copped more criticism than Barry Lester.
I work for a mobile lighting company, just we do all lighting installations. So my two bosses actually play bowls, so I get time off whenever I like, which is good. I was born in Bendigo, and then at 16 moved to Lakes Entrance in East Gippsland, and that was interesting, like having to move to a new school, new town, and all that, make new friends. First couple of months, I didn't really want to let everyone know I was like a lawn bowler, but I wasn't like ashamed of it or anything. It was just that first impression. Well, I'm the only Victorian that's in the Com Games, so for lawn bowls. So whenever the media need to look to lawn bowls, I'm the only number they can ring.
Lawn bowls in Australia is still, by and large, an amateur sport, with most players working full-time jobs in addition to playing. A lucky few have the support of the wealthier clubs.
Well, my club, Helensvale, they sort of sponsor me, so I've got to do a lot of work with them, representing them at club level, all throughout the year. So that's my number one commitment.
Been here for 3 years now. I come from South Tweed. I've been a greenkeeper at South Tweed, and then they offered me a job here as a greenkeeper here, so I took it up straight away because I heard it was a good club going a lot of places.
Well, we're trying to do everything we can from club level. We have incentive schemes in place for when they play, district, state and for Australia. If they work here, we give them unlimited time off to practice and to attend games. It was the proudest moment in the club's history, and to have 4 out of the 12, but we were a bit shocked.
We've got an annual turnover of approximately in excess of $100 million. And over here to my right is our new car park. It's been in operations for approximately 4 or 5 years. It holds 644 cars, all undercover. We have a lot of functions here, including weddings, presentation evenings, but we do have a lot of entertainment up here. This is our Hall of Fame, which we're very proud of. A long history of the club. The club, as I said, has been going for approximately 55 years. And also here, this is our history of our club shirts. When we first went coloured, you can see when we started through to our current shirt now, which is rather trendy with no collar, and the saints are walking out of the flames up into heaven.
Steve Glasson, the #1 men's bowler in Australia, is St John's Park's prize player. Despite this, he has not been selected for the 2006 Commonwealth Games.
I've missed out on Commonwealth Games this year, and it's pretty frustrating. I mean, the sport is getting more professional. They've employed a high-performance team now. Lately, it's been sort of pretty heavy in the media about this, about the high-performance team, and to their credit, they're doing their job very diligently.
One of the things that we did talk about when we very first got together, when you're going to impact culture, when you're going to stand for creating something different or something new, you're going to create a whole different context. There is going to be casualties along the way.
All throughout 2005, we had worked with Steve and had a number of conversations with him about his ball form, and he was considered to be up for selection as a singles player and not in any other disciplines, such as pairs and triples. We felt that was where we needed to get him back in form, and we'd done a lot of work to try and get Steve back in form, but through various reasons, Steve's form just didn't come back.
With all disrespect and good wishes to the people that are in the Commonwealth Games team, Steve's performance is still well up there with them. He's won more Bronze Prix than anybody in the Australian squad. He's the current world champion. He's just won his 9th indoor Australian title.
Okay, he won a bronze medal at the Asia Pacifics, but if you look at the number of countries that competed and where he finished in his pool, if he was at the Commonwealth Games Melbourne 2006, he wouldn't have got out of the preliminary phase and proceeded to the quarter-final stage.
I'll say it. I hope politics hasn't played a role in this selection process because he is the face of lawn bowls.
The guys running this high performance program are maybe comparing it to other sports a little bit too quickly. They're sort of comparing it to cricket or to cycling or to... And I mean, I don't think we have to get too carried away with it. You've got to be a certain amount fit to play bowls and you know, I sort of call it bowls fit. You know, and at the moment they've got the guys doing sort of beat tests and stuff and really you don't, you know, it's a load of crap really.
Say Steve's been a casualty because the authorities that picked the side said, well, Steve, you're not playing inside this game. You still want to play inside that game.
No worries.
Yeah, I was in the squad up until August last year. I just resigned from all representative matches for New South Wales, my club and everything due to family and work commitments and also just the demands on the players. I just it's getting more and more with the high performance. I don't tend to agree with it. It's especially when it is an amateur sport. We've got to have a job and we've got families and you know you've really got to put food on the table and bowls unfortunately doesn't do that for you. And if you're single and young and you know it's good fun, it's a good life, and the clubs will support you like St John's Park Bowling Club. They've looked after me very well, but you know at the end of the day it can't sustain a good life or a family.
With high performance coaching, it's got to be very individual and it has to be tailored to the athlete. It's very, very important that you consider each person as an individual person rather than applying a broad brush approach. The fact that you can't run 100 metres in 10 seconds flat doesn't make any difference whatsoever. So you just have to make sure that you improve on the gifts that she has. Obviously you do have to have some stamina and endurance, but more importantly you've got to be able to play the game and play it well, and she can.
It's 6 weeks out from the Commonwealth Games and the players are taking part in regular psychology sessions.
Does anybody have a set sort of routine that you go through in preparing for a comp?
I've always found to sort of get pumped up on the way to bowl some, definitely get some music going.
Yeah.
I always like to have a good breakfast before I play.
Yep.
So normally just sort of sit down, read the newspaper, chill out a bit and
do your own thing.
Don't really think about the game until probably half an hour before I start.
Yeah.
One of the potential traps in having a good preparation is if you actually change your routine. I know Neil Crichton, when he represented Queensland, the manager said don't have a beer, and he didn't have a beer that night, and he couldn't draw a shot the next day.
I guess there's a few parts to my job. Firstly, looking at the mental skills that are appropriate or that are applicable for long bowls, you know, your pre-shot routines, your relaxation, your visualisation.
So while you're on the bowling green, if you're thinking, oh geez, I'm not feeling too well about this today, you can go to someone instead of have to try and fight it out yourself.
We've learnt so much, you know, like just how to relax yourself and calm yourself down and, you know, turn a negative thought into a positive one.
When it comes to psychologists, we've, like, when I started, we'd never done things like that before, and then, like, you know, I've been to a few of them, and it certainly doesn't help me, but might help some people that, you know, who understands.
I'm putting sunscreen on in case I turn black. You got it?
I knew that there would be a psychology component, and I guess I knew that they would focus on certain areas coming from a psychology background myself, and I put time aside each day to practice those things like visualisation, for example, and self-talk and things like that. So I wanted just to consolidate on what I was already doing well.
How's everyone going with their sassy psych manuals? I don't want this to be a classroom sort of situation. Have you done your homework? But just generally, I'm just interested to see how people have progressed.
I've been a bit slack on it,
Yep.
just with Tri-Nations and stuff, but I've been slowly going through it. I mean, it's like...
Yep.
Psychology, I'm not much because I've never been to school and read and write, and when psychologists come, I sort of, I'm lost in that area, because to me I pick up a ball and I was natural of doing it. I was good at it before the psychologist came.
This morning, I don't know how you felt about the SWOT analysis that we did, but the body language just seemed really defensive at times, as if people didn't, either one, didn't want to be there, two, was that you weren't happy with what was said but didn't want to communicate that. I just felt a couple of times a couple of you got a bit defensive about things that were said. And
With only weeks before the Games, tensions within the squad are rising. Sports psychologist Rebecca Dillon forces athletes to deal with problems before they affect their performance.
Well, I was. I was, only because I really honestly didn't think what you said was fair about Linz and I. You know, we would never... I didn't feel that we were not supporting you guys in any way, and I was pretty frustrated with that, and that pretty much ruined my whole day.
I
Pretty much. And Lindsay feels the same, so...
Yeah. Well, Lindsay can speak for herself, though.
Yeah, and she will. And she will in a sec, yeah. We're one whole big team. If you guys had another hour to play, like after we had finished and the pairs girls for development were on their tiebreaker, then I think our place was to go and support them first and then come back because you guys have got so long to go.
I noticed that you were absent. I did. I can't help but I did notice that you were absent at the time. And yeah, we got an hour left. We've got an hour left to win our test. That's our test to win. We're coming back to what we're saying there, though. Like, we will not tolerate anyone speaking negatively about anyone in the team. Anything I've had to say was open and honest in front of the group. And yet you two have had discussions about me. So why couldn't we bring it up in front of the group there and then?
And Karen started talking about it, and then everybody just started talking about it, and I think it worked really well.
It is fantastic, but it's not personal. Right?
No, it's not.
About an
Like-
awesome team, and obviously we're all unique individuals, and we all have our individual strengths and weaknesses. And it's great that we can have this, and tomorrow, you know, we'll feel better.
Because it really demonstrated a point to them that if you hold on to something, then that's, you know, it's sort of Karen carried that around with her today, and that sort of upset her day, and while Kerry-Ann got it off her chest this morning, then someone else took it on board.
I feel better already.
Yeah, great.
Well, I felt half good because I just got it out. Yeah. And then I felt half bad because I knew that it wasn't resolved. It was complete with me, but it wasn't complete with other people. And I don't really want it. And the reason that I say it is not because of any other agenda other than that I want us to be really tight, and I want this to be special and something different and to be better than the best. So that's the only reason that I brought it, because I want us to be really close and tight.
Do you feel like we're having these same conversations again? Does it feel like... I feel like we're just constantly... Each camp we have to really pull everyone back to where we left the last camp. Like, at the Trans-Tasman, we were having those sessions in the morning with Bruce. It was like, yes, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. We're not going to talk negatively. We're going to give every bowl a chance. We had this great session on team behaviour and team word. And it feels like we got to today, and Cam and Shuey and I observed the training session this afternoon just after lunch for a little while. It just looks a bit casual. Just going through the motions.
It's looking positive for the Commonwealth Games, but I think we'll have our maximum impact in 2008.
The high-performance trainers believe that the athlete's performance will depend on a strong sense of team as much as on training.
You can't just put a group of people together and expect them to function as a team. You all have to have purpose and principle, so you have to be working towards the same purpose.
If the culture's going to alter, there needs to be a greater purpose than maintaining the status quo. Team, you know, the whole concept of team, the whole idea of team, and people, you know, from the grandstand go, oh, well, there's a team out there. They might not know what it is that we've done to build that team.
It's like walking along a log, and you can do that no worries, but then you put the log 100 feet in the air and try and walk along that log, then it's like, oh, you know. So I guess that's, once the pressure starts to build, then other feelings and reactions come in that some people don't know how to deal with, I guess.
If you think about, say, where we came from, you know, back in, you know, June of last year, you know, we look at, say, where we were as a group, or where, say, Bowls was a group, or its relationship to team, and say where you are now. I'm interested in, you know, what you have to say about where you are now, like leading into the Commonwealth Games.
I probably know like there's only 3 weeks to go. Then I probably sort of mentioned to everyone yesterday, just making sure the next 3 weeks there's any spare moment I have is going to be dedicated to something. And I feel that everything I'm doing now, I feel great, feel fine.
We're so close now, like never before. You know, we seem to be know where everyone's coming from now and everything like that.
We want to strip away the fluffy stuff or the conceptual talk, because bonding, yeah, okay, you bonded, I got it. How come you bonded?
Their mission statement or slogan is, I am Australia, powerfully united, passionately relentless. And that's the other thing, it's all the team who have developed this. It's not the high performance team saying, you will be the #1 bowling nation in the world, you'll be this, you'll be that. It's us saying to the team, who do you want to be?
Who I am is passionate, balanced, valuable. Very good.
The night before the athletes enter the Games Village, Bowls Australia holds a formal dinner to present them with caps bearing their team numbers.
Thank you all for coming tonight. It's a pleasure to have the Commonwealth Games team back in town again, and it's always good to get our staff at the office who put a lot of hard work into trying to make life easy for you guys. But tonight is all about rewarding you guys and honouring the fact that you are one of less than 200 people to ever represent Australia, male or female. And we'd like to present you with caps and with your numbers on it to do that.
Singles is a very lonely place to be. In a team game, you got your teammates, and you got support there, which is the singles. You're out there all on your own. You just won.
Number 64, Maria Rigby.
12 months ago for me was probably my real lowest point in bowls. I got sort of dropped out of the singles, I guess, a couple of months before. I was really close to probably giving it away.
Who I am is persistent, soaring,
number 56,
respected, worthy.
97 Asia Pacific Championships. Well done.
Look, I think it's really important to understand that maybe in the past there were individuals that were bigger than the team.
They've come up with their own values of how they operate as a team and their behaviours, like they want to be supporting each other.
The new culture, we believe, is the way forward, and that will give us the best possible chance of winning medals.
Who I am is determined, unbeatable.
They can choose to do it the old way, or they can join a new way.
Who I am is passionate, successful.
I will never forget to play the game with my teammates.
And I will always honour my word as self.
With this group, what we went about is we started to pinpoint those things that clearly weren't the team.
I will not let fear stop me from being great.
But if you choose to stay in the old culture, well, that's fine. You can go and do it that way. But you need to be
natural, determined.
So for a team to occur inside any organisation, it's a shift in mindset.
We'll make Australia very proud of us. Not just Kelvin and me, like everybody with pairs and triples, we'll go out there and we are one,
Who I am is adventurous,
Yeah, not much sleep. It's really looking forward to today.
I saw the medals on the news the other night, what they look like, and I want to get one of those. They look very cool. Just got it dyed, it's real hair. It's like yellow and green, and yeah.
Just thought it might look cool at the back of the ponytail. Yeah, Max had his done too, and his looks a bit funky.
Something I've been wanting to do for a few years now since my mum passed away, and I'm getting the initials LRL, which is Lynette Rose Lester, my mum's initials, put on my arm, and it means a lot to me to be doing this, and I know that carry spirits with me. Now I've got something to show. And yeah, there it is. Sweet.
When I got beaten in the final in Manchester, before I went out to play the game, I said to Paul, I'm going to get a tattoo if I win. And he's like, yeah, no worries. And I didn't. I never got it done. And I said to Linz, you know, it's your first Com Games, my third. Let's just go and do it. Anyway, couldn't get sort of organised to do it together, and we had to do it separately. I'd got mine done in Wollongong. Lynn's got hers done up on the Gold Coast. And they're a bit different in size, but they look the same. And yeah,
They mean the same thing.
They mean the same thing, yeah. So it's cool.
There's Lindsay's tablets here.
So we look around the village. There we go. And Australian flag. Hey, stop swearing. We've got the stairs, as you see, the village in the room. We've got all Australian flags and streamers. Beautiful.
I'm feeling the girls somewhere in the shower. Keep following me.
And here's Lindsay with the gear off. There she goes. Lindsay with the pairs. There's the couple, so you can go, lovely couple up there. Big cards, Chris Kieran, give us a wave. Beautiful. Oh, isn't that lovely? Oh, the power of three, right. Triples, power of three. Now there's Australian singles. Where is she?
I'm pretty lucky because all my kids are all grown up. I started young, having kids young, and now they're all grown up. And my kid says, Mum, you know, when you were young, you never had that enjoyment. You know, you raised us up, we're grown up. Now you're really good at bowls, so you're going to get that goal that you want.
Hey! Hey! We just thought we'd like to do a little presentation from the pairs team.
Yeah, we are the pairs team for the Commonwealth Games 2006 in Melbourne. Yes, and this is also a photo that I've brought. It's of Karen and myself when we won gold at Asia Pacific, and we are just pretending until we get our real one that this is a Commonwealth Games gold medal. This is what it's going to look like.
We'll get a new one.
Oh, give us a little kills back of his head. Oh, give us a little kill, give us back of his head.
Looking forward to it, obviously. Second Commonwealth Games, so hopefully I can go better than I did in the last one. Got beat in the quarterfinal, so really looking forward to it.
What's proud of us? Case.
Did you see the Kiwi wearing?
Oh, yeah, terrible.
I've got no words really. I'm pretty pumped and nervous and just really excited.
Oh, that when the opening ceremony, we're all dressed up in our uniforms, and I said, wow, look at this. We're wearing our uniform. We're here, and we walked in. Well, as soon as we hit it, you know, we were the last ones on the going in, and when we walked in, it was just say, wow, you know, it's absolute magic, absolute magic. I was very emotional, but I had actually it was my son's birthday, 17th birthday, Patrick, my younger one. And I held the sign up and I said, happy birthday, Patrick. So I will never forget that, because every time Patrick's birthdays, the Commonwealth Games, that's when I entered the arena. It was great.
We believe that at the end of it, you know, when it's all over and done, when the games is finished, that they can all look at themselves, and everybody who watches bowls, you know, like anybody in the grandstand watching bowls, will know that those people out there represented their... I get really emotional when I talk about this. They're representing their country.
But it won't hit you until you actually got the uniform on and you actually walked out on the green. That's what I did in World Bowls. I actually put the uniform, walked out, and I said, wow, and the tears started rolling down, and I said, wow, I'm here. This is it. That's when it hits you.
Been really lucky. Like, I've played 3 Commonwealth Games gold medal playoffs, and this is my 3rd one. and I feel different today. Like the other two have been really nervous and quite sort of thinking, oh, what if we don't win? But like today I feel like really cool, calm, collected, and like I feel really different. I think it's third time lucky. I've got a good feeling, so hopefully.
Australia playing with the orange discs on their bowls. Blue discs for Scotland.
Up, round it! Round him! Mr. H! Mr. H!
Oh. But we felt that the way Karen combined with Lindsay Armitage, I mean, they complement one another. So Lindsay's, you know, likes to be pumped up, and she looks up to Karen so much, and she just tries her little heart out, Lindsay Armitage, to get close for Karen, and Karen's experience and confidence then comes to the fore. She couldn't get the bowl out, could she? Oh, she could! Oh, Murphy, I see it. I don't believe it. Lindsay Armitage and Karen Murphy, that was a game that they will certainly never forget, and I will never forget their performance. She's got it! Karen Murphy!
Oh, unbelievable. I was just so happy for them, and then you get there and cuddle and just high five and just seeing their reaction, you just say to yourself, I've got to have this feeling for gold, you know. But it just makes you go out there and just win gold now, just because you want that feeling.
Well, Nathan Rice has trailed the Jack 2 down to 3 up. I think Barry got off the Richter scale. I think the euphoria of marching, the opening ceremony, the big cheer squad in the grandstand and worldwide television coverage. I just think, and we were trying to pull him back a little bit and not get too emotional about the experience. A great result for Malta.
Yeah, I changed bowls for 2 of the games over the course of the events. So yeah, just changed bowls just for different conditions and stuff like that. So
we spoke about that with all the coaches and all that. It wasn't just with Barry. We all talked about it and we thought, well, here we go.
Oh, Nathan Rice, he's not going to play the bowl. Shock tactics. He's not going to play the bowl.
Why wouldn't he play the bowl, put it behind, in case Lenny Callis gets a bit nasty about it, Chewy?
He's got the best back bowl. He doesn't want to give Len Callis a bowl to rest on, and he's actually done this to put this man, Len Callis, under more psychological pressure.
We want to get away from, it's hard, but we really want to get away from thinking about the gold medal and the podium and all that sort of stuff. Like, we've talked about it because it's natural, but we just want to take every bowl. If we get each one of our bowls closer than theirs, we've won. Kerry! Kerry! So we just got to think about each bowl.
Just play one bowl at a time, just play the way we practice.
We promise to give every ball a chance, and that's what we're here to do. So.
Yeah. Whoever wins this set at 9 ends will win the match.
Little Tree goes at it. I'm not going to have him without a medal this time.
Now I'm playing bowls, and it's worked out unbelievable for me. It's been my future, really, since I was 12.
But look, Kirko's one of the greatest players in the world. Nerves of steel. Very tough bowler here.
I've been told that if I win gold tonight, it'll be the best Australian bowling team ever. I'm pretty keen, I feel good, and I've played, I think I've peaked to my best form.
Knew straight away what he wanted to do. Can he get it? Just watch it. There's a shot ball! Yes!
Hopefully we can have one of each discipline, a triple, a pair and a singles.
Shot. Here it is.
He's playing
weight.
weight.
Will be riding it. It looks a little bit narrow. It looks a little bit narrow. Is this the gold medal to Australia? I think it is. He
Well, I hadn't really thought about it too much. I was just so elated and happy. And then next minute, all my team members have run out around me and lifted me up, and it was just an unbelievable moment for me.
It was unlike anything I've ever experienced ever before. It was just so emotional and exciting, and yeah, it was great.
And you think about how much we went through and the whole journey, you know, it's just a really good achievement.
You know, there were times when we sort of went back and thought, you know, hell, have we done the right thing here? Are we on the right track? Because this had never been done before. And to come away with those medals, it's just set us up. You know, we've got this tremendous springboard now in which to really take on the world.
Look, it's so much better to share it with someone. You know, like I said to you guys before, you know, no one can ever take that away from Linz and I now. And, you know, we were really good mates before we even started it, but I think we're even closer now.
Bit of weight in them, but I look quite good beside my bed table at home.
Yep.
Shirts won them all. Like, I just can't go anywhere now without you know, people saying, you know, well done the other day in the lawn bowls. Sensational, like to take your shirt off.
It's an exuberant gesture, and Kelvin's a bit like that, and I'm really pleased he did it, because it's brought bowls back into the modern stream again. Fantastic, yeah.
I think what it's done is it's actually given us credibility. You know, when we embarked on this process, it took a lot of trust from the athletes to believe in what we were doing. We always knew that if they did the preparation, they would get the results. But we had to convince them that this was the right way to go, because all they knew was the old way. Let's hope this is the start of a really great period in Australian lawn bowls.
I performed very well, but just one of those shot that didn't work for me. So it's heartbreaking. Because they all got medals and I didn't. Sorry.
Okay, now some of you may know that the game was the game was actually derived from rolling cannonballs up the deck of a ship. Did you know that? That's why they derived the game. So this is like the dead level out there. And what's going to happen? These guys are going to roll towards the small side, actually. Look, about 97, 98, I think the numbers got down to about 10 or 15, 20 members. It was really getting low. Nowadays, I'm getting young people to come in instead of it sort of being a military type. You know, got to wear the uniform, got to thing. I just tell them a couple of brief rules, takes about 5 or 10 minutes, and instantly they're engaged in something that is fun.